Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Ram Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jayo Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jayo Girivaradari. Jayo Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjanaya. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjanaya. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Munatira Vanachari Yamuna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Statra Shata Shishimata Bhaicharanavrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayesvabhadrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayana Virahakatara Juhava Putreti Tanmayatayo Taravo Binedus Tam Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, the activities of the Prachetas, text 29. Yena upashanti bhutanam kulakanam kshulakanam api ihatam Antarhita Antahridaye Kasmat Na Veda Na Ashisha Yeno Pasantir Bhutanam Yeno Pasantir Bhutanam Ksulokanam apihatam Ksulokanam apihatam Antarhito antarhridaye Antarhito antarhridaye Kasmanna Vedana Shisha. Kasmanna Vedana Shisha. Yenopasantir Bhutanam. Ksulakanam Apihatam. Antarhitontar Hridaye. Kasmanna Vedana Shisha. Mataji. Yena, by which process? Upashanti, satisfaction of all desires. Bhutanam, of the living entities. Kshulakanam, very much fallen. Api, although. Ihatam, desiring many things. Antarhita, hidden. Antahridaye, in the core of the heart. Kasmat, why? Na, our. Veda, he knows. Na, not. Ashishaha, desires. Translation. When the Lord, out of his natural compassion, thinks of his devotee, by that process only are all desires of the neophyte devotee fulfilled. The Lord is situated in every living entity heart, although the living entity may be very insignificant. The Lord knows everything about the living entity, including all his desires. Although we are very insignificant, why should the Lord not know our desires? Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A very advanced devotee does not think himself advanced. He is always very humble. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in His plenary expansion, as the Paramatma or Super Soul, sits in everyone's heart and can understand the attitudes and desires of His devotees. The Lord also gives opportunity to the non-devotees to fulfill their desires, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Matah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Whatever a living entity desires, however insignificant he may be, is noted by the Lord, who gives him a chance to fulfill his desires. If the desires of the non-devotees are fulfilled, why not those of the devotees? A pure devotee simply wants to engage in the service of the Lord without material desire. And if he wants this within the core of his heart, where the Lord is situated, and if he is without ulterior motive, why should the Lord not understand? If a sincere devotee renders service to the Lord or to the Archa Vigraha, the form of the Lord, all his activities prove successful because the Lord is present within his heart and understands his sincerity. Thus, if a devotee with all confidence goes on discharging the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will ultimately attain success. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yano pashantir bhutanam ksulakanam apihatam antarhiton tarhridaye kasman naveda nashishaha. Translation. When the Lord, out of his natural compassion, thinks of his devotee, by that process only are all desires of the neophyte devotee fulfilled. The Lord is situated in every living entity's heart, although the living entity may be very insignificant. The Lord knows everything about the living entity, including all his desires. Although we are very insignificant, why should the Lord not know our desires? Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Ajanulambita Bujao Kanakavadata Sankirtanai Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksu Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palam Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Yantah Pravishya Mamavachi Mamam Prasuptam Sanjeevaya Takila Shakti Darasvadamna Anyam Shahasta Charana Shravanat Vagadim Pranannamo Bhagavate Purushaya. Hare Krishna. So, Prachetas, having darshan of the Lord, are offering their direct prayers to the Supreme Lord. And here they are saying that ultimately you can make us completely peaceful. Peaceful means happy. Peaceful means you're satisfied. You don't need anything else. You're completely, totally, absolutely happy. And they start this verse with the word yana, which means by which. And Srila Prabhupada explains the method. Yana basically means what is the process for this? What is the process? What is the method by which we can become satisfied? And Srila Prabhupada explains in the previous verses and in this verse in particular that the method is simple and difficult at the same time. The method of you being satisfied, the trick how to achieve this state, is that the Lord remembers about you. In our present conditioned state, we are not satisfied, we are not happy. We are always dissatisfied, we are always morose, we are always disturbed. Some little things happens with us and we are, atom bomb explodes inside. somebody touches us in the wrong place or in the wrong way, we are completely, we're disturbed. People are disturbed in this world, and they are not happy. There are so many signs of unhappiness. You just look at the expression of people's faces, They're going like this, And especially old people. The older you become, when you are young, you still have some hopes. You think, I will become happy. There are so many unhappy people, but I am special. I will become an exception. But, then you become old and no exception. Diseases comes, old age comes, and you become, and you become angry at the whole world. And you look at young people and you think, so fools they are. Why they're so happy? They don't know anything. But basically, you're not happy. And that's the problem. And the reason why we're not happy is that we don't remember about the Lord. Because we don't remember about Him, He doesn't remember about us. He says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam statham bhajamyaham. I am reciprocate with the feelings of everyone. So if somebody doesn't remember me, fine. I don't mind. I don't have to remember about him. Less headache for myself. The Lord says, no problem. If you don't want to remember about me, I will not remember about you. And the result of us not being remembered by the Lord is that we become unhappy. And it's an amazing thing. Srila Prabhupada is very clear because he refers to the previous verse. In the previous verse, the Prachetas, they asked the Lord, Yat anusmaryate kale. If you anusmaryate, if we will be always remembered by you, then we will be happy. The only thing which they ask the Lord, please remember about us. Please remember that I do exist. And this is the most important thing actually for us. It's most important thing because when the Lord doesn't remember about us, doesn't look at us, because we turned away from Him, we become ultimately non-existent. We appeared, our existence, the very existence of the soul appeared because Lord looked at us. It is explained, this mystery is explained in Upanishads. In Upanishads it is said, Sa Aikshata, the creation of this world is attributed to the glance of the Lord. It's a very amazing thing. Actually, there is a very amazing similarity with the modern science. The modern science, the quantum mechanics, it's a very interesting parallel with the Upanishadic philosophy. Because practically in no other religion it is explained in the details how the creation of this world takes place. But originally, the original cause, the original reason for this world to exist is the glance of the Lord, Sa Aikshata. So it's very interesting to see that according to quantum mechanics, you may know or you may not know, the quantum objects, very small particles of matter, they, according to quantum mechanics, have two properties, properties of the wave and properties of the particle. And in a normal state, they exist as a wave. Wave basically means just wave. But then when the observer, and that's a very paradoxical thing, when the observer observes these quantum objects, it becomes the particle. The wave turns into the matter. So in the exact similar way, we are tiny observer, look in the tiny little quantum object, and it becomes matter. It becomes something significant. In the same way, when the Lord glances over the non-existing matter, over the matter which exists in this wave form, in primordial matter, it all of a sudden becomes matter. And ultimately, the same process is true towards ourselves. This is very important and this is very significant, because we only exist because of the glance of the Lord. And when the Lord withdraws his glance, when the Lord doesn't look at us, we become non-existent. And we feel it. We feel that we're completely non-existent. And because of this non-existence, it's a very paradoxical thing. We ultimately become very morose and unhappy. It's interesting also that Queen Kunti, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, she says to the Lord, she prays to the Lord is sitting right in front of her in the chariot. And she says to the Lord, now we're very prosperous. We won this huge war. We achieved this huge kingdom of us, and this kingdom is very rich and prosperous. And she says, why? Because you look at us. Because you cast your glance at us. So she says, we are prosperous because you cast your glance. Because the power of the glance of the Lord is very amazing. By his glance, he creates all this amazing world, just by his glance alone. So in the same way, if we want something, the secret of success is to somehow or other catch the glance of the Lord. That's why we come to him. Sometimes people think that I come to him to look at him. But who are we to look at him? We are lucky if he looks at us. We come in front of him to somehow or other catch his glance upon us. That's the reason why we are coming. That's the reason of darshan. This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, Drig Drishya Vichar. He told that my main teaching, which I teach, is this difference between Drik and Drishya. We're not Drashta. We're not the seer. We're Drishya. We're seen. We're coming in front of the Lord to be seen, to be remembered. And then, as a result, if we understand that the key for success, the key of happiness, is to be remembered by the Lord, to be seen by the Lord, to somehow or other to get or to catch the attention of the Lord, then we come to him with proper intention. We come to him in a mood of service. Not we come to him to look at him, let me look at you. Looking is not the service. When we come in front of the Lord, we come to be seen. Please, somehow or other, see me. Because who are we to see him? We don't have eyes to see him. And that's true, we look at him and we don't see the Lord. We only see the external covering. We see the stone. We don't see the Lord himself. But the Lord sees us if we are in a proper attitude. And therefore, Prachetas here, they say exactly these things. By this process, Yena, by the process of us being seen by you, by the process of us being remembered by you, we will become happy and all our desires will be fulfilled. And Prabhupada, he says that actually, if we translate this into the practical terms, what does it mean to be remembered by the Lord? Whether he remembers about me or not. Srila Prabhupada explains that in practical terms, it basically means deity worship. And it is said in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that if you want to quickly attain, if you want to quickly cut the Hridaya Granthi, if you really want to quickly forget the identification with the matter, Hridaya Granthi is the problem. This ahankar which is there in the heart, our identification with the matter is the problem. And in Upanishads, in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, if you want to quickly cut this knot in the heart, then you have to engage in the deity worship according to Tantra. Tantroktena Chakeshava. You have to really properly worship the Lord with the proper intention. And Prabhupada explains that worship of the Lord is not the worship of the idol, and the difference is the mood. Worshipping the Lord, Tantroktena, according to Tantras, and it's very important, which we should understand. Worshipping the Lord according to Tantras means worshipping Him with certain bhav. Srila Prabhupada quotes this famous saying, Sanskrit saying in the previous verse, Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna accepts our bhav. What happens, the mistake which we do when we try to worship the Lord, we try to worship the Lord in a material way. We think we will offer Him some items, and He needs our items. He needs our chapati, the Lord, please take my chapati. Lord doesn't take your chapati. Lord only takes your bhav, your mood. If you have this bhav, your mood, He will take the bhav and He will enjoy your bhav. So, Tantroktena, when it is said in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that you should do it strictly according to the rules of Tantra, you should upacharate the Lord with the rules of the Tantra. The first and the most important rule of the Tantra is what? Anukulyasya sankalpak pratikulyasya varjanam. Rakshishyatiti vishvaso goptritve varanam tatha. Atmanik shepa karpanyam sadvidha sharanagati. This is taken from the Tantra. This is the first and foremost rule which is there, by which we can hope to be remembered by the Lord, by which we can hope to approach the Lord. Sharanagati. Sharanagati is the first and foremost rule which should be there in our heart. This is the bhav. It's very interesting because Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in Jaiva Dharma what is Sharanagati. Sometimes we hear this, we know this, Anukulyasya Sankalpa, you just accept everything which is favorable. Pratikulyasya Varjanam, you reject everything which is unfavorable. Rakshishyatiti, you have this feeling the Lord always protects me. Vishvaso, you have this Vishwas, the trust. Goptritve varanam tatha, you have the feeling that Lord gives me everything. Atmanik shepa karpanyam. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this Sharanagati is emotion. It's bhav. That there are 5 emotions in this Sharanagati. These 6 items of Sharanagati consist of 5 emotions. What are these emotions? He says the first emotion is pratigya. Pratigya means determination. I will do it by all means. Today Sachinanda Maharaj is coming to Delhi. Of course, he is not coming to the temple, but I was told that he is coming to Delhi, going to Haridwar. And he will come to the temple 1 week later. And if you get him, just try to understand his emotions. He is the one person who very clearly expresses his emotions, especially when he talks about Sharanagati. you know Sachinand Maharaj, he's very emotional. So, but basically, this is what the Lord wants from us. He wants emotion. He doesn't want chapati, he doesn't want incense. You see, he needs this artificial chemical incense, which we offer to him, which is poisonous. No, he doesn't need this incense. He needs our bath. He needs our feelings associated with the item which we offer to him. And it starts this emotional relationship with the Lord. When the Lord starts accepting us, starts getting something from us, starts with this emotion of surrender, which starts with this emotion of determination. I will do it no matter what. I will do it. It's difficult. It's really difficult. I would rather watch TV. Or, you know, there are so many nice things in this world. You know, so many, so many garbage is there to enjoy. But, you know, if this feeling is there, by all means, this one life, I will do it. And somehow or other, I will get his attention by my determination. I am a Bhakti in this New Delhi temple, and I am totally hopeless. I'm totally spaced out. I don't have any hope, but I will do it. So when this feeling is there, the Lord will become happy. The Lord becomes happy, says, this one? And he thinks like this, it's something special. Something is really special going on in his heart. So this is the first feeling or the first bhav which is there, pratigya. And Prabhupada actually says this, by explaining this verse, he says that by all means you will be successful. The pratigya means that you're hopeful against hope. That there is actually no reason to be hopeful. Look at us, you know, I mean, I'm speaking about myself. You look at our background, look at what have we done. There is no hope. But still, you know, we're hopeful. And the Lord says, there is something in his heart which is worthwhile. So this is the first bhav which the Lord accepts. And then, Rakshishyatiti Vishvaso, the second bhav, the Lord will protect me. I completely trust him. This Vishwas is trust. Again, you know, this trust is very rare. The trust that the Lord will protect me in all circumstances, it's very rare because we always want to protect ourselves. We don't trust that the Lord will protect us. We think, you know, if I don't care about myself, who will take care of me? Him? So what I mean to say is that this trust that the Lord will protect me in all circumstances, no matter what, is a very rare feeling. And if this feeling is there, the Lord will reciprocate. If you think that you will protect yourself, the Lord will not, he will reciprocate with this. He says, okay, no problem. Take care of yourself. I have no problem with this. You don't have to trust me, but if you trust me, I will protect you. If you don't trust me, I will not protect you. Fair deal. There is no no injustice in the whole thing. So this complete trust that the Lord will protect me under all circumstances is emotion. And this emotion has gradations. You know, we have this little tiny speck of this trust to the Lord, but it may become very huge, you know. The point is that, again, the Lord accepts our emotional attitude. And then, Rakshishyatiti Vishvaso Goptritve Varanam Tatha. Goptritve Varanam Tatha basically means gratitude. This is the emotion of gratitude. When we think that the Lord, He gave us so much already. And usually people are very ungrateful. They always think, I need this and I need that, and, and I'm serving Him, and He doesn't give me what I need. We come to Him and we have a complete list in our pocket, Please give me this and this and this and this I don't have and this I don't have. We never think what we already have. The Lord already gave us so much. And He's giving us every day. So the Lord, He only waits when we get little speck of gratitude. When we come to Him and say, oh my Lord, you gave me such nice prasadam today, and you gave me this nice association, and you gave me, so many, and I still see. Whatever we have, we take for granted. Only until the point when we lose it. We see and we think, oh, phew, I see, everyone sees. Then not everyone sees. All of a sudden you become old and you stop seeing, or you stop hearing, or you stop something. But what I mean to say is that the Lord accepts our gratitude. He accepts our determination. He accepts our trust to Him. He accepts our gratitude to Him. And then Atmanikshepa and Karpanyam, this utter humility and complete self-surrender. This is also certain emotions which the Lord accepts. So what I mean to say is that this is our part of the game. We want to become happy. And amazingly enough, the Lord also wants us to become happy. Sometimes we think He is cruel. No, He wants everyone to become happy. And He explains how for us to become happy. And for us to become happy is to express certain emotions by searching within our heart. By understanding that the Lord is already giving, that the Lord is already protecting, that the Lord already provided us with so many things, and the Lord actually made us insignificant. This is what we should do, and in this way we become completely happy. We want complete happiness. And because of our stupidity, foolishness, we somehow or other don't understand the way to get the complete happiness, and we try to get the temporary happiness of this world. There is a very nice story in Mahabharata, which I wanted to tell, which is really nice story. It's a story about Mudgala Rishi, which is explained to Pandavas while they are in exile in a forest by Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva, by this story, he wants to pacify them. He actually says that if you are determined, and if you follow your dharma, and if you're tolerant and humble, you will ultimately achieve success. This is exactly what Prabhupada says in the purport to this verse. He says, ultimately, you should not be doubtful. The Lord is there within your heart. He knows what you want. He will fulfill your desires. If your desires are proper. And even if your desires are not proper, He will also fulfill them. But then you will regret. Then you will say, oh, I was such a fool, my dear Lord. Please fulfill my real desire. My real desire is to be with you. So basically, that's the purport of the story. The Vyasadeva, he wants to explain to Pandavas that you will achieve your success. There is no doubt about it. But please tolerate. It will not come immediately. The Lord wants us to go through certain tests to actually purify our desire. Why the tests and difficulties are there within our life? Because now we have little speck of desire to come closer to the Lord, but this desire is not really pure. Who can say with all certainty that his desire to achieve the Lord is pure? Forget it. Yeah, it would be good, we think. But I also need this and that and so many other things. So he tells this story, and he tells the story about Mudgala Rishi, who was living in Kurukshetra nearby. And he was a very austere person, and he had his family, wife and son. And he was only taking the grains from the field which were left over after the harvest. When the crops are harvested, then little grains are there. This is called, the pigeon vritti. The vritti by picking up the leftover grains. Some grains are there. So he was taking a little bit, and he was, basically taking one palmful of grains, and was cooking a little bit for himself, and he was going without eating for many days and then cook again. And once Durvasa Muni, and at the same time he was feeding everyone, and once Durvasa Muni decided to test him. And Durvasa Muni came and said, you give me, you feed me. And this Mudgala Rishi gave him all the rice which was there, and Durvasa Muni ate everything, and he said, give me more. And he, somehow or other, he got some more rice, and he ate everything. And then Durvasa Muni was eating and eating and eating, and he basically ate everything which was there, and the rest which he couldn't eat, he just smeared all over his body. And this poor Rishi is sitting there, completely hungry. And Durvasa Muni looks at him, and he's completely happy, says, oh yeah, please take whatever I have, take. And he again goes to the field, and he collects again some grains. And next day, Durvasa Muni comes again. And again, it's everything which is there, and smears the rest, the remnants all over his body. And again looks at this Rishi. And Rishi again, peaceful. The Durvasa Muni, his modus operandi is he wants to, to see where is the limit of your tolerance. When you become really angry at him, and he does everything possible to make you angry. But this Rishi is feeding him 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. 6 days he's just eating everything, completely, and not leaving anything. And this Mudgala Rishi is peaceful. And at the end, Durvasa Muni says, okay, I tested you enough. Now you can go directly to heaven. This is my blessing. You can go directly to heaven. And all of a sudden, he sees in front of himself there is a heavenly chariot coming from the heaven. And the messenger from heaven says, please ascend to this chariot. Let's go to the heavenly planets. And Mudgala Rishi, he's a intelligent person. So he says, please tell me, what is there? I don't want to go somewhere where I'm not sure what's going on there. And he says, oh, it's so nice there. You have a lot of food. He says, okay, that's something, Yeah, a lot of food, I've been hungry for some time. And then he says, you don't even feel hunger and thirst there. And there are so many fragrances there, and it's so beautiful woman and nice weather, never cold and never too hot and everything. And he says, yes, that's good. He says, yes, good, nice. Please tell me what is bad there. Because, he knows that you have to pay for everything in this world. So he says, what is the price for this good weather, which is there in the heavens? And the messenger says, yes, there is one little thing which is not so good in heaven. He says, what is it? He says, actually, you live there in heaven, and you cannot really prolong your life in heaven. You enjoy there. You enjoy so much. You enjoy, and you want to enjoy more. But then at one point, you feel that your good karma is completely exhausted. And at that time, all the inhabitants of heaven, they have the garland. Not this garland. This is transcendental, but they have material garland. And this garland is completely, the flowers of this garland, they never, how you say this, never become dry. They're always fresh. But then, when your karma is about to be exhausted, all of a sudden, this garland becomes dry. For so many years, you have this garland, and every morning, first thing you do, you look at this garland, and you see the garland is still fresh. And you think, oh, so nice. I'm still here. I still can enjoy. But then at one point, you look at the garland, and it's dry. And you understand, that's it. Finished. And for a few more days, you're still there to increase your suffering. Because you expect that all of a sudden you will fall down from here. And sure enough, after a few days, you fall down and you suffer again in this world. And this messenger of heaven, he explains to him that, and then you fall down and you suffer because you were enjoying so much and now you cannot enjoy. And you're now again in this miserable belly. You were in heaven and you were smelling nice fragrances, and you're here in Delhi with all these fumes and exhaust fumes and everything, and you're there. Just imagine how miserable you will become after enjoying for so long there. And you come here. And Mugdala Rishi says, okay, I got the point. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Please don't invite me. And the messenger said, no, look, this chariot is there for you. He says, no. Thank you. Thank you. I'm only going somewhere from where I don't have to fall down. Yad gatvam anivartante tad dhamma paramam mama. I'm going to Vishnu Sabot, because from Vishnu Sabot you don't have to fall down. And then the messenger says, yeah, that's good if you go. It's a good solution. But you know that only very humble people can go there. And only very tolerant people can go there. And Mugdala Rishi says, yes, I know. I'm quite tolerant. I tolerated this Durvasa for so long. And I don't mind being humble, because this is what I am. Why should I be proud? What is the reason for me to be proud? And at that moment, exactly at that moment, Vishnu Dutas come and take him to the heaven. And not to the heaven, to Vaikuntha, from where he doesn't have to fall. So the point of this thing is that ultimately Krishna will fulfill our desire. But what we have to do, we have to know how to desire what we're supposed to desire. That ultimately our heart should be purified, and the process of purification is to worship the deity in the proper mood. Is to worship the deity with proper emotions, with emotions which Krishna will accept us. And then even in this life we'll become happy. Even in this life we'll become completely peaceful. And this is exactly what Prachetas say this. And they say, in a very humble mood they're saying, we are apihitam, apihitam, we still have desires within our heart. Please raise your hand who still have desires within their hearts. Few don't, but but the majority has. So welcome to the material world. And they say, yeah, we're very fallen, very sincerely they say. Prabhupada says this is the sign of advancement. The real sign of advancement is that we sincerely within our heart feel we are fallen. Sincerely within our heart we feel we are insignificant. This is the emotion by which the Lord will remember us. If we think that we are very advanced, then the Lord says, oh fine, somebody is very advanced, let him stay here. He doesn't need me. He's very advanced. He doesn't need me. But if sincerely within our heart we have this feeling, then the Lord, He takes our feeling. The Lord is there within everyone's heart, but He doesn't enjoy everyone's feeling. He doesn't take everyone's feeling. But if somebody has this real bhav towards Him, bhavagrahi janardana, He will take this bhav and He will reward us accordingly. And that's the point. That's the method. The method is bhakti. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. If you want bhakti, you can only get bhakti from bhakti. Bhakti is coming only from the bhakti. And basically it's coming from the bhakti within the heart of a pure devotee. But you can obtain this bhakti if you are humble and if you are trying to serve the pure devotee. You're trying to serve the pure devotee and his bhakti comes to your heart. His surrender comes to your heart. And you, all of a sudden, you become happy. Nothing happens. Everything is the same. The same body, the same entourage which you have, the same prasadam. But there is difference. You feel this difference. You are happy. Because of the surrender which all of a sudden entered your heart, because these emotions entered your heart, and by these emotions you feel that the Lord accepted your surrender, that the Lord remembers about you. All of a sudden you feel that the Lord remembers about you. There is another one little story which I will describe and finish my class. It's also very interesting because Jiva Goswami, he gives this story to illustrate the point that ultimately only by bhakti and simple bhakti, the simple process of surrender, you can achieve everything. This story is from Padma Puran, and in this story it is said that there was a very nice and pure-hearted Brahmana called Vishnudas. And there was a king of this state. And the king, they were both very pious religious people, this king of Chola dynasty and this Brahmana Vishnudas. And they were both sort of competing with each other. The Lord, the king became little jealous of this Vishnudas, seeing his purity and his simplicity and his, attitude. And the Lord challenged, the king, at one point he challenged this Brahmana Vishnudas. Let's see who first will go to the spiritual world. Let's see who will be first there. And of course, king is passionate. The Rajagun is there, so he wants to go first. And this Brahmana Vishnudas, he is simple bhakta, he is worshipping deity. And the king thinks, I will do something better. I will do huge sacrifice and I will do it so perfectly that I will go first. And, he does his little sacrifice to the deity, offering him, the deity, little fruits and flowers and everything. And the king does this huge sacrifice. One after another, engaging best priest and best everyone, and, the geese poured, the tons of geese being poured, and, and he thinks, now I will get the favor of the Lord. So much ghee, I must get some favor in return. And it's going on. And all of a sudden, at one point, the king gets the news. Vishnudas went to the spiritual world. Just by engaging in this simple process, and his dhyan, he left his body and he is there in the spiritual world. And the king becomes, this is the moment of truth. The king becomes totally frustrated. He comes to the priest who is performing this sacrifice. And he says, what is the use in all these sacrifices? For so many years I was doing this, so much ghee was wasted. And he's there and I'm not there, I'm still here. And then he stands in front of the fire, the sacrificial fire. And in front of this priest who is doing this sacrifice. And he says, with firm conviction, with firm determination, give me the devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And he repeats this 3 times. Give me the devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Give me the devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And when he repeats it 3rd time, boom, all of a sudden, he casts his body, he falls dead just in front of this, and his soul goes to the spiritual world. So again, the same point is there. You know, for so many years he was doing all these sacrifices and everything, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. But then for 3 times, with proper emotion, he says, give me the devotion to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And Supreme Lord said, okay, fine. No problem. I was waiting when you will ask for this. And that's exactly what is said in this verse, that, you know, they say, you know what we want. You are within our heart. Give us the devotion, so that we won't have to come back to this spiritual world, to this material world, and rot here for so many years, and everything is there. So it's simple. Devotion is simple. Just come in front of the Lord and say, give me the devotion. And boom, all of a sudden, half of the brahmachari ashram is dead. Well, I don't know. But you require to be really frustrated to do it sincerely. You have to say it with the full sincerity in the heart. Then the Lord will fulfill your desires, and then you will obtain the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, I guess we have to finish now because it's already over time. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.